If you are a Potterhead, you are in for a surprise because this book has a lot of Harry Potter references. Hi guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This book was published in the year 2019 and it is a fantasy fiction. What I have seen on social media and also on Goodreads and other review websites is that people compare Erin Morgenstern's debut novel with this novel. Her debut novel was The Night Circus, and this is her second novel. And honestly speaking, I went into this read as unbiased as possible. So the one advice that I would like to give is to read this book without any prejudices. Don't compare this book with The Night Circus because both of these books are different. Now, let's move on to the summary of this book. The Starless Sea is a story of a boy called Zachary Ezra Rollins, and he is the son of the fortune teller. The Starless Sea is actually a universe, a world in itself. It is a starless sea, or the Starless Sea for that matter. This world is filled with books, lots and lots of libraries, and books have stories which are actual stories which are lived by actual human beings. Whatever you are reading in a book, in the Starless Sea or in the harbor, those books have stories of real people. Interesting, isn't it? So Zachary Ezra Rollins is a university student and he goes to his library in search of books and he finds this one book, he brings it home and he starts reading it and he realizes that the story that he's reading is about his life up until the point that he's living it. That was the premise of the story. Now let's move on to my opinion. The book is honestly a treat for book lovers or cat lovers for that matter. Or if you are a fan of fantasy, you will love reading this book. Because the fantasy written in this book, the entire world that she has created is breathtaking. You want to be a part of that world. Obviously, who wouldn't want to be a part of a world where stories are real? You get to live in a story, you know, it is pretty cool. But then there are consequences too, obviously. There is some great action in there. There is something really intriguing about the way this book has been written. So you just want to turn the pages as soon as possible and you want to know what is happening next in the story. So it's a pretty intriguing story as well. But coming towards the one thing that has always nagged me while reading fantasy, and I have a problem with fantasies for this particular matter, is that a lot of writers write fantasy in a way that they create this whole universe, but they don't have a particular past or a future. It just seems as if they have a present and you are plopped right into the middle of that present and you are just living it. You know, you don't really understand the backstory of that universe and you don't understand where it is headed, except for Harry Potter, which, like, that's why I really like Harry Potter, because it has a past and you really understand it. Like, it's a really believable world that J.K. Rowling has created, and that's what I miss in other fantasies. The universe that the author creates is not believable. And the same goes with The Starless Sea. I absolutely love the first half of this book, and that was the reason why I had put this book in my favorite reads of 2021. I was so impressed with the way this has been written. I was like, oh my goodness, why people don't like this book? I absolutely love it, and I think that Erin Morgenstern is going to be my next favorite writer. But I went and moved on to the second half of this book, and boom, that was a game changer. And the entire Starless Sea and the whole concept of it is really, really confusing. And it just is so twisty. You don't really understand what's going on. And like the jumping around of the past and the present and then back to the past is really, really confusing. Now let's move on to the pros and cons. The world that Erin Morgenstern has created is breathtaking and you want to be a part of it. It's beautifully built and the entire description of things. I think that Erin Morgenstern is known for those type of descriptions, because I remember reading The Night Circus and I really liked the way she has developed the entire Night Circus theme and the entire description of that place. The same is with the Starless Sea as well. And obviously, being a Potterhead, I loved all the references of Harry Potter and the nitty-gritty details about the Harry Potter bit. And if you are reading the book, then you will be able to relate to something. Towards the end of this novel, there is something that will remind you so much of Dobby, or not in particular Dobby, then of house elves or elves in general in the Harry Potter series. You like, if you have read the novel and you know what I'm talking about, comment down below, because I don't want to give it away. It's like, it is probably a spoiler, so I don't want to talk about that, but there is this one bit which will remind you of that. Mark my word. If you are planning on reading this novel, then mark my words. And the cons. The world is choppy. The world is jumpy. You don't really understand what is going on most of the time. You are like, okay, where are we right now? And then I also lost track of so many things. I lost track of who was pirate, who were the guardians, who was responsible for the keys, and like who got swords tattooed on their chests. It is a really confusing world. Now for the recommendation and rating. So if you're not fazed at all by the constant jumping from past to present, present to past, and from one character to another, and then like different perspectives, then just go ahead, grab a copy and read this book. But if you get confused, if the constant jumping around of things is a downer for you, then I won't recommend you investing in this book. And I would give this book a 3.5 out of 5. And with that note, we have come to the end of this video. If you liked it, make sure to give this a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do that. If you want to watch my review of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, I will leave it right here. You can check it out. And I will see you guys really soon, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.